Welcome to Wisdom in Action. I'm Bill Ross. A husband and wife are separated. The wife says the marriage is over, and she's seeing a divorce lawyer. Then she talked to today's guest, and that started a series of events that led to reconciliation and a happy marriage. Coty Evans is a relationship coach. He's known as Coach Coty. Coty, good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
What is a relationship coach?
Well, relationship coach is somebody who can help a couple or people in a relationship bridge the gap or make a connection where there's a disconnect, or even help a couple thrive, have a thriving relationship where it has become stagnant or they've kind of fallen into the status quo.
In the introduction, I talked about this couple. The woman says they're headed for divorce, and then they talk to you. Take us through what happened.
Well, the lady had come to me, and we were speaking, and she said, "I'm done. The relationship's over. He's moved out. I've kicked him out. I don't want to be with him anymore." And I said, "Well, can you tell me a little bit about what happened?" So she's told me the scenario and given me the insight into what has caused her to take this step. So I said, "Do you mind if I talk to your husband?" She said, "Yes, but it's not going to make any difference." And I said, "Well, do you mind if I talk to him?" She said, "No, go ahead." So I talked to the husband, and I asked him if I could have a conference with both of them present, and they agreed to that. Now, when I get them into the same room, what I found out was that each of them were doing things that they thought the relationship needed. The husband was trying to be a good husband and provide for his family, working 2 jobs, sometimes 3, to try to make ends meet, while the woman was looking for much more quality time and one-to-one, face-to-face attention. As soon as I was able to help them get the perspective from their other counterpart, they were able to see that this whole time that they've been communicating in 2 different languages. And so as soon as they were able to see the other person's perspective, the relationship was able to reform. They were able to work on the things that they had not been working on before together, each one trying to get to the spot where the other partner needed, and then they've been together for 3 years ever since.
Is that the biggest problem, failure to communicate?
Communication and finances are the number 2 problems. There's debate about whether finances or communication is number 1, but communication is certainly ranking right up there, depending on the couple.
Now, you just don't deal with relationships between men and women.
No, sir. I deal with relationships. It could be a mother going through empty nest syndrome. It could be a company that's having challenges with their employees. An employer, I work for an employer right now who has had problems in the past with their employees not being on board, not sharing the same vision. So I work across all relationships because the key ingredients are typically the same.
For people who haven't dealt with a relationship coach, what happens? Someone contacts you, and then what happens?
Well, I sit down and I ask them what their agenda is. You know, what is the issue? What problem are they facing? So once the goals are defined, then we've developed strategies, and that's where I help the clients, because sometimes they don't necessarily know the strategies that are going to be best or most efficient for the the route that they want to take.
Can you give some other examples of people that you've helped?
Well, again, I mentioned empty nest syndrome. This is a syndrome, a facet of life that a lot of women face. And so when you have a woman that's devoted her life to her children for the past 18 years and almost, I hate to say this, neglected her husband to some extent, but then the child is going to be gone in a couple of months. So the woman's torn because the love of her life, in some respect, her firstborn, is going to leave, and now she's got to deal with this guy that she doesn't really know anymore because she's been disconnected from him for so long. It's not only emotionally difficult for her because of the loss, but now she has the stress of having to try to reconnect with the person that she's living with. And so I help that person to understand that there is life outside of the child, and that they need to get themselves involved in different hobbies and interests, and perhaps bring their husband into the game as well, so that they will be doing things together again.
What's your background?
Well, interestingly, I have a background in education as far as chemistry, or with chemistry and biochemistry. So I've spent most of my background in research and working for a research company, a research and development company, on biomedical device design. And so that's my educational background. But then I went through divorce, and I wanted to figure out what went wrong in my relationship. And so I got into coaching, and I got my certification in that, so I've got my education background in that as well, and I've been doing that ever since.
Why do you think you've been successful?
Well, I think because of the experiences that I've had in my life and going through divorce, I think that I bring a neutrality to things. I bring a diplomacy, and I help people. I have a different perspective on life since that divorce, and that perspective helps me to get inside someone else's shoes. For example, yours, if you're going through an issue. I'm not focused on only my agenda, but I take into consideration the agenda and the perspective of everyone else. And so that, I believe, is one of the most pivotal things, or most concrete things that I can offer for my clients. And then just being there for my clients. You have a lot of people that are in businesses that have no customer service. They will not be there for their clients. My clients have my cell phone. It's available 24 hours a day. So if there comes a crisis, I'm there. I remember I was dealing with a guy. He called me late one evening. He said, I have to have an appointment today. And he said, there's a situation that's come up. My wife found out that I was doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing. We need to see you right away. I met with him that night. I made sure that I made time for him. So that's one of the differences and what sets me apart and helps me to be successful.
What's the best way for someone to contact you?
Well, they can go to my website at www.coachcoty.com, and that's C-O-T-Y, or they can contact me by email at coty@coachcoty.com, or of course they can call me at my office phone at 281-915-0411.
Coty, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Coty's website says he'll help you master the tools to be proactive and to take control of your life's path. So if you're ready to take your life to the next level, contact Coach Coty, Coty Evans.